In this video, we're going to look at how to enter answers. For this first question is looking for an integer or decimal answer, and for that, we just use the keyboard and type our decimal answer. The only thing to be aware of is if it doesn't specify how to round, keep at least 4 significant digits. That usually means like 3 decimal places for most sized numbers, just to make sure that your answer is accurate enough. For our second answer here, we are looking for a reduced fraction or integer answer. You can see that here. And so there's a couple ways we can enter that. If you want to use the palette, that's what's showing here, we could hit the fraction button to create a fraction and then type a 2 for the numerator. And then we can either click into the denominator to enter the 5, or we can use the arrow down key here or the arrow key on the keyboard to move into the denominator and enter the 5. Now, if you prefer to use your keyboard to enter this answer, you can use the / key to create the fraction. So I can just type 2 / 5, and that creates my fraction. If I needed to type anything after this, like a second fraction, you can use the right arrow, again, either on the keyboard or here, to move out of the denominator and back onto the main line, and then you could type, more stuff after that. Okay, so you can either use, 2 / 5 or the button in the palette here. For this answer, we're going to need to enter a fraction. And so again, if we're going to use the mouse and the palette here, we could click the fraction button first to create a fraction, and then type 1 plus, we need a square root, so I'll press the square root button, square root of 3. And now again, we need to move into the denominator, so I can press down on my keyboard or the down button here and type the 4. Now, if you're entering this on the keyboard, you could type 1 plus, again, the square root button here, or if you prefer to, you can also type SQRT, and when you put in the T, the SQRT, it creates the square root. The problem we're going to have now is, if I just hit / now, it's going to create the fraction inside of the square root. Even if I hit the right arrow here to move outside of the square root, if I hit / it's going to create the fraction under just the 3. If I need to create a fraction under all of it, I need to highlight everything and either hit the fraction button here, or now I can just hit / on my keyboard and I can enter my denominator. If you don't want to have to use the mouse at all here, then you would need to start with parentheses to group the numerators. So we could start parentheses on my keyboard, type 1 plus SQRT3, and now I'm going to hit the right arrow key on my keyboard twice to move all the way outside of the parentheses, and then I can type /4 to finish off the answer. For the final answer here, which is an algebraic answer, again, I can either use the palette that you're seeing on screen, or you can use the keyboard. To use the palette, we would start by typing X on our keyboard, and then we can press the exponent button here, which will lift us up into the exponent, and we can type 2. And then to get out of the exponent, sometimes you'll need to hit the right arrow on your keyboard, or again, the right arrow here. And then we can type plus 3x plus. For the logarithm here, we can either type out log on the keyboard, or under the functions tab here, you'll find the log there. And then on my keyboard, I can type x. You'll notice it inserts parentheses around the input. That's because you should always have parentheses around the input to a function, and it will automatically insert those if you don't do it yourself. Now, we could also enter this answer using the keyboard. To do that, we would type X and then the caret key. That's the one above the 6 on the keyboard. So you would type Shift 6 for the caret, moves us up into the exponent. So type our 2 plus 3x plus log parentheses x, and I can type all that on the keyboard. And there's our answers, and we got them all right. Great. Now, if you really don't like using this palette at all and find it very annoying, There is an option up here to disable the equation editor entirely. And if you do that, then this is going to become a calculator style entry. And you'll see over here it shows you live how the computer is interpreting what you typed in, but you'll need to be very careful to make sure that you use parentheses appropriately if you decide to enter your answer this way. All right, so that is how you can enter algebraic and numeric answers in MyOpenMath, WAMAP, and any other IMathAS site.